شعب الخلود.
Welcome back. 106 years ago, with just a letter from the British Foreign Minister by then, Balfour, this declaration took place. Well, I don't know if we should commemorate this as what? As a source of the conflicts and the reason behind the killing and the bloodshed which took place starting 1948 until the moment, or we should just think about it as only one of the diplomatic sins in our modern history. The 2nd of November marked the 106th anniversary of the Balfour Declaration, which supported the establishment of a state for the Jewish people in Palestine in 1917 and considered the state of the ongoing and prolonged Palestine-Israeli conflict. This is only a reminder of the root of the whole story. As usual, we are following minute by minute all the developments in Gaza and what started on October 7th, and unfortunately it's continuing to claim lives of innocent people. And as I said in my intro, it seems that the Israeli occupation is going steadily to break all records as the martyrs reached, about to reach 10,000 people. Most of them are women and children. To shed more light on the developments, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you very much for being with us, Ambassador Bayoumi.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
Sir, today is going to be another meeting as our top diplomat, Sameh Shoukry, is going to meet with many of his counterparts from the Arab world, and in addition to a Palestinian representative, and after that they are going to be meeting with the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. How do you see the timing of this meeting, and what do you think the demands are going to be? Is it going only to be the humanitarian aid and the flow of humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip, or to try to find a solution for or to reach a ceasefire?
It is a continuous effort, whether on the international level, regional level, on the Arab level, within our relations with Africa or Europe, within our relation with America. So the timing here means that we are doing this every day, and if you, of course, you are watching our president receiving on daily basis foreign Minister of Foreign Affairs from several countries, talking on the phone to his counterpart in many other countries. Now Sameh Shoukry also, he was in New York to join the United Nations efforts in order to see what we can do to support the Palestinian cause. The only thing which is optimistic here, that I think we succeeded to make the international arena aware of what is going on in Gaza, and it is illegal. Even the Jewish community in the United States are opposing what the Israeli government is doing in Gaza. It's unhuman, and it doesn't help Israel and its image all over the world. But I think that Israel will continue doing this, because we have a prime minister who is saving himself from going to the jail for several trials, and this war fits him in order to keep him out of jail. Very strange situation, and for the first time we see that ministers in a government are doing extremist actions against the people of Gaza and Palestine in general. Mm-hmm. So we have to live with this, but the good thing that the Palestinian stand is very solid, that we are supporting Palestine, whatever it would take to make the Palestinians stay in their land, no migration at all, because this is a joke to ask a Palestinian to leave his country for a Russian Jew or an American Jew or European Jew to come and to replace him. It is a sort of a joke. How we
A
can
very
accept
silly
this?
joke, Ambassador Bayoumi. But let me return back to the meeting of today because I really want to know what are going to be the demands, what the should be agenda. I mean, are we going only to focus on the, of course, this it's very important to guarantee the sustainable flow of aid to the Palestinian territories. But are we going only to focus on that and not to focus on the ceasefire? I mean,
No,
when
of
this
course
assault
not.
is going to find an end, what's the purpose of the offensive? When you
Yeah.
are going to stop? I need anyone to ask the Israeli occupation, to ask the Israeli government, when you are going to stop? What's your target?
Yes, we have priorities. The first priority is to supply the Palestinians with food and medicine and whatever they need to live. Then the second priority, which is also very needy, is to stop killing Palestinians in a cold blood. And the whole world is against this war, of course. But unfortunately, the United Nations failed in the Security Council to take a decision because of the American veto. But we have a success in the United Nations General Assembly with a very remarkable decision. But unfortunately, the decisions of the General Assembly are not the same legal value of the Security Council. We have to live with this also. But I think we are gaining everywhere supporters. Even the Jewish community of the United States are now calling to stop this silly war. And let us hope that one day, very soon, this government will stop killing people. Although, as I said before, the head of the government is making personal use of the war to keep himself out of jail.
Yes, sir, but as you've kindly mentioned, the international community should play a role. And as far as I know, or there are media reports speaking about a conference which is going to be held in the French capital on the 9th of November to try to find a solution how to guarantee the sustainable flow of aid to the Gazans. The humanitarian aid, as you've kindly mentioned, is very important. And when it's coming from the French capital, do you think it's going to be more, practical, or it's going to find its way easier than what's going on right now?
We have to live with two realities, whether from Europe or the United States, because strategically they need Israel to play the role of the soldier in our area. Since Napoleon came to our area calling on the Jewish community all over the world to come to occupy this piece of land. So we have to live with this. But they also abide to the international law, and they try to soften the situation. So you will see the thing and the opposite from the same country, whether it's America or France also, because they have double standards to deal with the matter. But we have to live with this. We have to support the Palestinians by all means, because at the end of the day, if they continue living in their own land, this is a victory. But the price is very high. And I confess I cannot watch the screen all the time, seeing the whole buildings destroyed and with its citizens inside
Yes.
the buildings. This is a sort of killing. Any
It is
international
killing. It is
court
killing.
will
And it's not
condemn
my
what's
word, it's
going
not
on.
your word, sir. Even the ICC executive attorney or general attorney Karim Khan when he was here just a few days ago, and he visited Rafah crossing, and he made an important press conference after that in Cairo. He said that crimes against humanity are taking place, and to deprive the civilians from food, fuel, water, electricity, you name it, and to have these bombardments on civil suburbs without without justifying why you're doing so. These are crimes against humanity. But is the international community listening to that? I doubt.
No, they don't. And but we have to live with this, and with the double standards. They talk about human rights, and when they burn the Quran or do things against our Quran, this is a sort of freedom practice. But if we, Garoudi of France, when he wrote an article questioning what happened in the Second World War about the Holocaust or whatever, they put him in jail for 3 years. Mm-hmm. So you have to live with this, and we have to uncover all those lies. But I think we are gaining on the ground more and more supporters to our case. Hope to one day to come to finish this massacre, which is really something we have to be ashamed about it in the whole world.
I hope that the whole world can feel ashamed of what's going on, because this has nothing to do with humanity, this has nothing to do with civilization, this has nothing to do with human rights. But anyways, sir, of course, you have listened yesterday to Hassan Nasrallah of Hezbollah. And President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was keen in each occasion to warn or to stress the dangers of the expansion of the conflict and to include other parties in the conflict. How do you see the Israeli-Lebanese clashes, and how, if these clashes unfortunately expanded, it's going to lead the whole region into a real war?
That's why we ask every part of the problem to be careful of what he is doing. Of course, we are all keen to support the Palestinians, but it's not to Hassan Nasrallah to start another war on Lebanon. Lebanon is in a very weak situation. Mind you that Lebanon has no president since almost years. So this is not the time that Lebanon take the responsibility of opening another front against Israel. Mm-hmm. So it is a legal operation. We are keen to continue doing this because really the price will be paid by the Palestinians themselves. Mm-hmm. And I hope that Syria or Lebanon will not be involved in this war at this time.
Neither the Houthis, for example, because whenever it comes from a militia backed by Iran, this is going to lead the whole region into a war which, God forbids, we don't know how it's going to end or how many lives it's going to claim. Sir, let's return back to the very active and positive role played by Egypt, and upon presidential directives, the Rafah crossing is still opened, and many of the foreigners and the badly wounded Palestinians are getting into Egypt, whether to return homes for the other nationals or to receive treatment here in the Egyptian hospitals. How do you see this as another move by Egypt to prove that all the time we are going to consider the Palestinian cause as one of our Arab priorities or the most important Arab priority?
This is a historical role of Egypt since 2,000 years before Christ, when the Egyptian army went to fight the Hyksos there. Since Muhammad Ali went there, since Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi make his war against the Crusaders. So it is our duty. We shall never reserve any efforts in order to help this area because it is part of our national security, and it's not a matter of money or supplies. It's a matter of the Egyptian security also. And we consider that Palestine is part of our security, and during the last few wars, Egypt lost victims. There is no family in Egypt without a victim because of the Palestinian wars. So we are doing this not only because we are supporting Palestine and the Palestinian, but it's because part of our security, and we shall continue defending our security, whatever it takes.
Amen to that, sir. And even American Secretary of State Antony Blinken on his social media account thanked Egypt and President Sisi for playing this very positive role to facilitate the passage of the Americans and other foreigners from Gaza through Egypt to return back to their homelands because of the word which was said more than once, and particularly by UN Secretary General, for example, Antonio Guterres, when he said no place is safe in Gaza, and even the UN staff, the rescue workers, are being killed in Gaza, rather than, of course, being not able to continue with their job. Sir, Blinken is in a diplomatic mission here in the Middle East, and it's the second visit in a few days. And with his meetings with Benjamin Netanyahu in specific, unfortunately, it was said that even with the American pressure, the Israeli Prime Minister said that he is going to continue with his offensive. As you've kindly mentioned, is it because his own interest, or until the moment, the Israeli side still needs more lives to prove that they are above law, and they are not going to listen to any pressure from any part of the world, even if it is the United States?
So the Blinken visit is a sort of the double standard policies of the United States. On one side, he's begging and asking Israel to stop the war and to stay a few days without war. On the other side, he came with $14 billion assistance to Israel. What a policy is this? How he can convince Israel while he's giving them this sort of money, while the United States itself is on a couple of hours for
Sir, if you permit me to interrupt here, you are our diplomatic figure, and I should seize this opportunity to speak about the among lines diplomacy, if I may call it this way. There are media reports or even statements released by the White House speaking about Benjamin Netanyahu. He is going to continue as the Israeli Prime Minister until the end of the offensive. This statement was said this way. Is it to say that there are really rifts among them, or there are differences, as what's going on the ground now is really against all rules, even against what the United States is seeking, or how the United States want the Middle East to be?
Yes, as I said before, that Israel is playing the role of a soldier for the sake of the United States and Europe interest in the area. And we proved since the Sadat initiative that they don't need to do that. Good direct relations between Egypt and the Arabs with the United States and the NATO member states can solve the problem. But still now we have this extremist government, and Netanyahu, who was always extremist, is the most reasonable among his cabinet. Really, we are seeing a sort of crimes every moment, every hour, and I am afraid that we shall continue seeing this. But all what we can do at this right moment is to continue raising our voices, knocking all the doors on the international level and the regional level, and also our bilateral relations. The only light at the end of the tunnel is the Palestinians themselves, and they're remaining in their land, stopping any attitude to make them to leave their country and their land. This is the only
you have really, sir,
escape
described
from this
this
situation.
as a silly joke, and this is really the perfect description.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Well, Ambassador Bayoumi, thank you very much for your input, sir, and have a very good day. We were very much delighted to have with us via phone His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. The Board of UNESCO unanimously adopted the draft resolution of the Egyptian Knowledge Bank. The resolution highlights this important initiative overseen by the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research. Let's have a closer look.
The executive